Haudenosaunee is the native word for the Confederacy, which did create the Susquehanna River as a National Historic Trail, which is hugely significant for the entire reaches of the Susquehanna River, which emanates in Cooperstown, New York, in Otsego Lake, flows down through state of New York to Binghamton, down through Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, down through Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, down through the state of Maryland, and empties into the Chesapeake Bay. It is one of the largest, if not the largest, water basin in this country. It also is historically very, very significant because it was the quickest mode of travel. Okay, if you needed to go any place in the watershed, you would get into the watershed and you would canoe to where you're going. So I think it's probably one of the least recognized bodies of water, if you will, in this country, and yet it is probably one of the most historical places because when the Euro-Americans started to move west, obviously they encountered more of the native people, specifically the Pennsylvania tribal communities as well as the Iroquois Confederacy people, whose protectorate existed at one time from southern Canada to the Mississippi River to North Carolina, which is a huge geographic area. Okay, and obviously the Susquehanna River provided an opportunity for the native people to travel. What does Susquehanna mean today? Well, it's endangered right now, and it's endangered because of all of the pollutants, whether they're agricultural or mining or industrial, all of the different pollutants that are currently entering the water have significantly endangered the Susquehanna. In addition to that, the building of dams have destroyed many of the historical places, if you will, meeting places along the river. It certainly has destroyed the petroglyphs that were once in the river. They're no longer in the river, but they're cracked, they're messed, they're all over the place. So there's an initiative to try to regather those and bring those back together in a common place in a museum, and rightfully so. It's important that the fish that migrate are able to once again migrate to the upper rivers of the Susquehanna, which they no longer can do. I think probably maybe 1 in 10,000 shad actually make it past the dam. Not sure of those numbers, but it's so minimal, minuscule, that it's embarrassing to even mention it and talk about it. We have two clans. One's an eel clan. We used to find eels everywhere in the Susquehanna River. Now, in a lot of places, there aren't any. We used to find a lot of turtles. Turtle is another clan. Turtles are disappearing. And so the native people have a spiritual and a land issue, if you will, with the destruction of pristine lands for purposes of questionable activities. And so we're charged as stewards of the land to try to correct or try to modify, if you will, what has happened to the Susquehanna River basin, which includes all of those streams and rivers and so forth that flow into the Susquehanna. The more that the Haudenosaunee people can educate, if you will, is critical, I think, to people being able to use that information for the purpose of developing relationship with prospects that may or may not have an interest in large-scale conservation. It's about relationship building, so you need to have those relationships with people. You need to create trust, and if the Haudenosaunee people can help you do that, then I think that's a win for the environment. Trying to work on that aspect of creating a bond for the environment is critical to having the Haudenosaunee people and the National Park Service people come together in that discussion, if you will, and to appreciate what both of the entities bring to the table, if you will. And so we're beginning now to really work on that relationship.